Hey everybody, it's Connie. Welcome back to my channel. This is my second video of the night, and I saw this last night, and I was gonna make a video about it last night, but then I didn't. So yeah, here I am, and I actually have the post pulled up, and I'm gonna read it for you, and then I'm going to show you the photo afterwards, I think. Anyway, this reads, my homie sent me this and said he finally got the girl he crushing on over to his crib for a dinner date night shit, whatever it's called. But he said when she saw this, she started talking about where the dish is at. And talking about how she not eating that shit like that and left. This emoji. But I don't see shit wrong with this shit. What do y'all ladies... what y'all think, ladies? Would you eat like this or leave? This is the photo provided. Let me see. So what... That is spaghetti in what looks like to be an ice cream bucket. Like, you can, like, look at that blue handle right there, y'all. This, a bunch of chicken or chicken wings, I'm not really sure. And then some rolls right here. This is the meal that he was gonna give to this girl. I read the comments. People were acting like... Basically, most of them were acting like she was crazy because she left and wasn't gonna eat that. And act like she was doing too much. I 100% disagree. 100% disagree because first date, you want to put your best foot forward. And by the way, it sounds like, okay, this is a quote from this little thing. He finally got the girl he crushing on over to his crib. He finally, that word is telling me that he's been trying for a while. And she finally said yes. And we bust out with the spaghetti in the ice cream pail. And it's like, you know, obviously not everybody's gonna be rich. Like, I don't want, like, no, because don't be fucking calling me bougie in the comments. Literally, by the way it sounds, by the way she said where the dish is at, and talking about she not eating that shit like that, that makes it sound like that it makes it sound like he was expected to just eat out of that shit. And she shouldn't have to do that. First date, you, like, I'm confused. It's like, okay, so, like, were the two of y'all supposed to be eating out of that bucket together? Is that what was supposed to be going on? Because, no, that's completely unacceptable. First date, and you make me eat out of the same bucket you're eating out of. I don't know you like that. This is the first date. You should be putting your best foot forward. And, of course, I understand that not everybody, you know, has, like, fancy stuff in their house. But it's like, no paper plates. I mean, where were the dishes? That's what I kept asking myself that last night. Where were the dishes, though? Because, again, it sounds like that he was expecting her just to eat out of that fucking bucket with him. No. And that was a big-ass bucket, too. So, I mean, like, no, it was a big-ass bucket. It's not like she had her own smaller little separate bucket. Which, still, I probably wouldn't want to eat out of that either. But, come on, dog. And then people again, most people in the comments were basically saying that, okay, well, I would eat it. And you know, she's doing too much. Basically, that was pretty much what everybody was saying in the comments. But there were some people who were all like, she was right to leave. That's weird and gross. I'm sorry it is. Like, even if the bucket is washed, which, I mean, I do assume it is washed. You want me to... Come on, dog. Come on. But yes, the very few comments I saw that said that, you know, she was in the right to leave. They were all like, okay, well, why didn't she help and why didn't she get paper plates if they're so cheap? How is this her fucking job? Let me ask you that. How is it her job to get... She was invited on the date. From the short little paragraph here, it sounds like she was invited on the date. And, of course, I'm not saying, you know, the person invited on the date can't contribute anything, but... Okay, so she's just gonna run out to the store and get some paper plates like that? Like, no! You should have already had that prepared. This is a date. You put your best foot forward, at least for the first few. I would assume. Look, I never been on a date. I never been on a date, but it's like, you would think you would literally think, oh my god, this effing little light thing that pops up when you touch the screen when you're recording, that it won't go the fuck away. Like, but anyway, it's like, how is it her job to go out and get paper plates for him, for his house? He don't have dishes. It sound like he don't have dishes. And again, I understand people struggling. I'm not expecting everybody to be eating off china in their fucking house. Like, it does. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything too fucking fancy. And that's why, and like people who were like, this is ridiculous and gross. People were also like kind of calling them bougie and stuff like that, and be like, okay, well, you never struggled before. Maybe they haven't, but that doesn't mean they're bougie. This is different. Like, you should not expect anybody to come over for a first date, somebody who don't even know you like that. You should not expect them to come over and be comfortable with eating out of a fucking bucket like that. I'm sorry, that's just not how most people fucking eat. Most people do have pots and pans. I get not everybody can afford that shit, but I mean, where was the guy who wrote this? Because his friend wrote this. You didn't want to offer your buddy anything? Did nobody care about this dude? Did nobody care about the dude on the date to offer him some pots and pans? Like, I mean, like, just even one pot and pan to put the spaghetti in. And like 2 or 3 plates that they could eat off of. Did nobody want to offer him that? Where was this dude's friends at if he really can't afford that shit? And again, people saying that it was, he really wanted dishes that bad that she should have got something. First off, again, it sounds like he had to try a couple times to get her to come over for this date. So, that tells me, I don't know about any of y'all, but it's telling me that she was already maybe on the fence about it. Right? She went on this date, she was like, okay, I'm going to give him a shot. Then he serves her that. Then he serves her spaghetti in, and I mean, that's something you take to the fucking beach to make sandcastles with. And it's like, again, I'm not expecting everybody, to be eating off the richest fucking, kitchen appliances. It has nothing to do with that. Let me show y'all one more time. Because I'm not sure if y'all understand. I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't be able to eat out of that. Also, I'm like also kind of a germaphobe. And I feel weird about eating out of that. I'm not even fucking with spaghetti like that anyway, but I would feel weird about eating out of that. And Liliana said something about it, and she actually came with a really good idea, saying that, if he didn't have any place, then he could have made it as, like, a picnic, where he would bring the food, and she would bring, like, plates, forks, spoons, whatever. That was a very clever idea. And we should have done that if there really were no fucking dishes, and we needed dishes. Like, that would have been a really smart idea, because typically, both people contribute to a picnic, or, however many people are going. Like, everybody contributes to the picnic. That would be a very smart idea. There are ways around this. We could do other things. I don't really know why, if we knew we didn't have dishes, why we would invite people over to our houses for food. I wouldn't do that personally. I wouldn't serve anybody that. Especially not somebody I had a crush on, who, it was our first date. I wouldn't serve anybody that. I would find, there are more types of dates that don't involve eating or money, period. If that's really the problem that was going on here. They could have went on a walk together, went to the beach together, maybe, if they live by a beach. Well, that's all the fuck. I'm not thinking about dates that often. I'm not going on dates, so I'm not thinking about them like that. But, and again, a picnic, because, he could afford the food. But if he ain't had dishes, yes, the picnic idea was fantastic. If we needed dishes, if that was really the problem. So, yeah, it's like, there are ways to get away from this problem. Paper plates are $2 probably at Dollar General. Like, I would say $2 tops, and you can get a lot. There were ways around this problem that he had here And again, I mean, pots and pans aren't that expensive either. Like, they are at thrift stores all the time. That's why it's like, I'm not trying to poverty shame because maybe he just doesn't have very much money. But again, I'm not blaming her at all for not wanting to eat that. And that's not a bougie thing. It's just that, you know, as humans, I'm sorry, most of us aren't used to eating out of buckets. Most of us aren't used to eating like that, especially if they were sharing the bucket, which, again, based on the photo and what it seems like it makes, I mean, like, if they weren't eating out of the bucket together, like, was she going to hold in her hands and eat it? That's why I'm confused. Nobody should be expected to eat like that. And she had every right to leave and say, I'm not doing that. She had boundaries and said, I'm not crossing them with you. I'm so sorry. But again, if the problem, look, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that. I would not eat out of that, especially if it was somebody, first date. If they had been, like, together for a long time, and then, I don't know, something happened where he had to whip out the pail, then, I mean, she probably wouldn't have minded that much. Like, if they were married or something like that, then this is something that they could just laugh about or whatever later on in their life. However, first date, we're not really used to that yet. Or, I mean, again, I've never been on a date, but I would say I wouldn't be comfortable with that on a first date. Somebody who I finally agreed to go on a date with, and they bust that out. Again, it's not a bougie thing. I don't want nobody saying that I'm bougie in the comments. It's not a bougie thing. I'm not used to eating out of buckets, and I don't want to eat out of a bucket, frankly. I would like to, I mean the buckets, the bucket's one thing, but it's like also to not have other, you know, plates to put that on. Like, okay, if it was just in the bucket, and then we would pick it up, you know, the spoon, because there's a spoon in it, and, you know, plop some down on our own separate plate. Okay, that's one thing. I still wouldn't really know how I would feel getting spaghetti from a bucket, but I mean, she asked where the dishes at. Where are the dishes? So, like, okay, so, like, y'all weren't just gonna eat out the bucket. Yeah. No, and yeah, people are like, okay, well, shit, I'd eat it. That looked good. And it's like, okay, I don't really think it looks appetizing, personally, like, any of it. But if you think it looks good and you would eat it, that's fantastic. However, you cannot blame somebody for not wanting to eat that shit. And sorry, I just fucking farted. I'm not sure if you heard that. I'm sorry, y'all. But I'm sorry, I had to get this out of my system because I'm like, okay, what do y'all think? I'm gonna show y'all one more time. Like, I'm so sorry you could not, I'm first date, I'm finally at your fucking house and you bring this out. Why did it have to be a food date if we didn't have dishes? If you didn't have dishes, there are other types of dates to do. There are tons of dates that are free, or at least, you know, mostly free, but you can find cheap food somewhere, again, if money was the problem. Why would we invite somebody over for food when we don't have dishes, y'all? That's my question. On the first date, too. Not even with your fucking buddies. Like, on a first date with the girl you like. You don't have dishes? Why do we do that date then? Why did we do that type of date then? When you're eating at my house when I don't have all the materials needed to eat. It's a real genuine question. Like, again, if this dude doesn't have that much money, I'm not trying to be, you know, classist or shame him for how much money he has. But, again, she's not wrong for leaving. She's not wrong for saying, I'm not eating that and leaving. I don't see anything wrong with that decision. People are allowed to have boundaries. Look, again, most people are not used to eating out of a bucket. That is normal to say no to. That is okay to say no to. Let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe to the bell icon, subscribe. I'm posting. I'm seeing this. Goodbye.